Okay, one of my favorites, Florentines. So what I do first is I take my glacé cherries and I chop them in half. The reason why I do that is because they're pretty big and we don't want huge chunks of cherry on top of our Florentines. So I do that first, and then I'm going to put on this tray my baking sheet, and then I'm putting my fruit and my nuts on top of the tray so that I can warm them up later. When we add our caramel to this warm fruit and nuts, you'll find that it'll actually work better and it won't seize. If you put warm caramel on top of cold nuts, it can seize it up and it's really hard to mix through. Okay, so let's have a look at getting this recipe on here for you. Well, you don't have to have cookie dough. I am just going to go in here and go My Recipes, go to my saved collections. I have a lot in here, but I'm just going to scroll through. You probably, you will have the basic cookbook, so you need to click on that. And then we're going to scroll down here until we find caramel toffees. Click on that, and then to get this recipe started, what we're going to do is scroll down to step 3 and click here. And we're just going to weigh the ingredients in that my recipe states, and you can do that by pushing the ellipses at the top here and pressing scales, and you can weigh in and tear each of your ingredients. Close that and then go back to the recipe, and then we're just going to go click, 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 click to next, next, next. Ignore all this. Then we're going to put our splash guard on and press done, and you'll be able to make the recipe. Now, when you do this, it actually says 25 minutes on sugar work, but what we're going to do is you can either use your alarm in the top here to set it for 15 minutes, or you can set a timer in the kitchen or your watch or whatever for 15 minutes, and we're going to stop it then. And to stop it, all we need to do is push the dial button, and that will stop the process. Don't stop it beforehand, because if you do, the ingredients that are inside your bowl won't weigh as much as what this recipe states anymore, because it has reduced. So if you stop it, you won't be able to start it again unless you go back to 25 minutes. I hope that makes sense. But all you need to do is let it go for 15 minutes, press the selector button, and it will stop the cooking process, and it will be perfect. So now we've got our recipe set to start the sugar work. So we just weigh in the ingredients that I've listed for the Florentines. And then we press next, 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 and forget about all the ingredients that are listed in that particular recipe for the toffees, because we're not making that. We put our splash guard on top and press start. Pretty easy. So we're going to cook this for 15 minutes and then stop. In the last 5 minutes of the caramel cooking, I pop my fruit and nuts in the oven so that they're warm through. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to mix them up to make sure that they're evenly spaced out, and we're going to pour the caramel on top. Now, like I said earlier, if you pour caramel onto cold fruit and nuts, it'll seize a little bit and it'll be harder to work around, because what we need to do now is we need to make sure that that caramel is mixed completely through all of our fruit and nuts. It's pretty easy to do while it's warm. And then we're just going to spread it out evenly onto our tray before popping it back into the oven. It doesn't have to be squashed down too much, but you want it fairly even. If you need to move some of the fruit and nuts around, do that with a fork or a spoon, and pop that in the oven. It should look like this. And then, like I said, pop it in the oven. While that's in the oven, I'm going to clean my bowl. So I make sure that the rim is clean so that when I put my lid on, it doesn't stick. And we put a little bit of detergent in there. Set the pre-clean mode to caramel and let it do its thing. Okay, so this is what your Florentines should look like in the oven. We're going to cook them off until they're really golden brown. It needs to be really golden brown and bubbling all over. Allow your Florentine to cool completely before moving on. I flip my tray out so that my Florentines are upside down. I've tempered some chocolate. Now I'll put some notes in the blog post about that, so you don't have to temper chocolate if you don't want to. I'll explain how to do that. So I just spread it on and use a comb to make the traditional sort of markings on the back of the Florentines, and then allow it to cool completely again and set before I chop it up into portions. So that's what it looks like. And then using a sharp knife, all I do is cut it into portions. Now, you can cut it to whatever size you like. These are large triangles, or you can actually take this half again and make small triangles. If you've cooked them till they're really golden brown, they will stay firm for ages. I would say that they will last at least a week, if not longer. So you can just pop them under a cloche or in a sealed container and they will be fine. Everybody will love them. If you get the chance to make this recipe, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you have to say.